So since we're pivoting, I need everybody to get locked in this one. This is normally the style of how I do it on the Tristen Law Show. What I'm talking about today is Chris Jericho, the first undisputed champion, the Ayatollah of rock and roller. The reason why the AEW even had a star power out the gate. He liked an Instagram post that was teasing his WWE return. So let's talk about it. Should Chris Jericho go home for one last run, or should the king stay where he helped build the kingdom? I don't know. I think that by Jericho liking the post teasing his WWE return, it really didn't say anything. It could have been him just seeing it on the internet and just being bored and just thinking, well, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and like the whole thing, because it stirs up the internet. Now the internet is talking. His contract is up in December 2025. So where will he end up? You know, will he end up in the Royal Rumble? Will he go to TNA because he's never been there? I don't think he's going to TNA. But if he had a choice to go, I would think the place that he's going to go to would be the WWE, because you know what? For the lack of a better term, there's still a lot more that Chris Jericho, well, not a lot more. There's still a little bit more that Chris Jericho has to do for his return. Dave, Dave knows, I know that you are the most controversial person here because I've been on your show. I subscribe to your YouTube channel. Where do you think Chris Jericho is going to end up if he does leave AEW?
I mean, first of all, I do want to agree with what you just said about, you know, Jericho could be, you know, it's just liking an Instagram post doesn't mean nothing. I mean, for those of you who may not remember, he posted a picture of himself standing in front of the TNA logo as an April Fool's Day joke. So it's not like stirring up troubles beyond Y2J, because of course it is. Now, for me, I'm going to say this is conditional. For Chris Jericho, if it's about getting that Hall of Fame induction, if it's about just getting in there and retiring, going back to WWE, I get it. However, at the same time, there have been AEW talents such as Billy Gunn, who was technically inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as part of DX, even though he was still an AEW wrestler. So it's not like it's mutually exclusive. It's not like you can't do both. But I'm going to put it this way. As far as I'm concerned, Chris Jericho retired in 2017. We've been staring at Moon Goose McQueen ever since.
Damn.
I don't know anything else. I don't think he has anything left to offer. Like, it would be great. It would be the pop. And one thing I hate is fans love looking towards the pop. They always say, oh, imagine the pop. But yeah, if he shows up at the Royal Rumble with the countdown clock, yes, there'll be a pop, but then what? I don't think he's bringing anybody through the door. I think he's already exposed himself for not being as good as a lot of us said he would, including myself, who said, oh, if they would just run with him and put a little more confidence behind him, you know, like, why didn't him and KO main event WrestleMania? I get it now. I get it. I still like Chris Jericho to a degree, but I think there's a lot of things about him in recent years that have kind of undone his own legacy. I don't know that he has more to add to the table. It's not. The question to me is, should Chris Jericho go back to WWE? It's why would WWE want Chris Jericho? Give me a good reason for that. Not saying there isn't one, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So as far as I'm concerned, Chris Jericho, AEW, WWE, retire. That's what I would say. The answer is none. But if it is a Hall of Fame thing, fine, WWE, go back and get your flowers, as the kids would say. But other than that, I really don't see anything he brings to the table for either party at this point.
I think that if Chris Jericho is going back to WWE, he should do exactly what he was trying to do in AEW, and that is help the younger talent get over. Because the issue, I felt like there's a lot of knucklehead people that worked in AEW, and like they just weren't listening. Like Jericho had the Jericho Society. He had the Learning Tree. It couldn't get any more like tongue-in-cheek other than the Learning Tree. And I just felt like there's no real big stars that came out of that whole entire thing. You got Jake Hager, who had the opportunity to be with Chris Jericho, and what's he do now? Sit at Chris Van Vliet and act like, you know, he was the creme de la creme of pro wrestling. But do you think that, and when I'm putting this towards Albert, do you think that Chris Jericho deserves a Hall of Fame induction in the WWE?
Dave, do you want to answer that for me? Do you think you know what I'm going to say? Chris Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. 100%, yes. He absolutely deserves a Hall of Fame spot. I mean, no matter what, even if you factor out what he's done for AEW, if his career did end, like Dave said, in 2017, he's still a Hall of Famer, right? I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind. I think what Jericho's done since has almost enhanced where where he once was, and then AEW. And here's my thing: I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk negatively about AEW, the promotion. I don't want to talk negatively about any promotion. What I do like to talk negatively about is the fan bases. And for me, I hate the AEW fan base with a blind passion, because the second that Chris Jericho didn't get to a point where he slowed down a couple of steps. Let's face it, he's older. He's a little bit more experienced. He's not the Chris Jericho of 2010. He's definitely not the Chris Jericho of 2005, 2006, right? You know what you're supposed to get. And I don't think Jericho slowed down to the point where people have made it like, oh my God, he's terrible. I think he's absolutely fine. I think if you have him in a limited number of appearances where he comes in and he has a good program with somebody to set up, I think he's fine in WWE. My biggest thing about Chris Jericho is I don't know what he wants to do after he's done in the ring. And I think that we all know that his in-ring career is wrapping up. If Chris Jericho wants to, like you said, Tristen, stick to putting over or evolving the business afterwards and helping the younger talent, WWE is the right place to go, right? They've got the Performance Center. They've got a place for him to go and teach a promo class or teach, guys how to work in the ring, teach a character. AEW doesn't have any of that yet. And I think that might be the biggest thing that a lot of people are missing from where Chris Jericho makes his decision. Sure, he can stay in AEW and help people and even work behind the scenes. But how much is he really doing when he doesn't have, where his expertise aren't going to be seen as much? He's not a booker. He's not a promoter. He's not a producer. He's a wrestler. And I think that if he wants to help the rest of the wrestling industry, you go to WWE where they've got the built-in system.
You see, the thing though with Chris Jericho, he's not just a wrestler, he's a chameleon. And the real question is does he still need WWE or does WWE need him? Honestly, 100%, when I'm answering that question, WWE does not need Chris Jericho in any way whatsoever. And Albert, I'm sorry if I'm offending you. You know what?
No, it's fine.
Get over it. But
Get over it.
But does he still need WWE though? I think he does. I think he needs to go in there and put the cherry on top of the sundae. He has built, Chris Jericho, one of the greatest legacies of all time. He was the guy that fought. He was the CM Punk of his generation, minus the microphone. He broke out of WCW, came to WWF, stand there in front of The Rock, and The Rock goes, "Excuse me, who are you?" "Oh, my name is Chris." "It doesn't matter what your name is." And then he made himself a bigger star, so much that he was able to go, that he was one of the biggest free agents at the time that went to AEW. You see, is Chris Jericho's WWE return inevitable or is unnecessary? He's done everything in the WWE, though. He's the first WWE undisputed champion when they had 2 belts, but then now these days it's like 3, 12 belts. I don't know. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's a 6-time IC
He didn't win the Royal Rumble. That's the only thing he didn't do.
He didn't win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's the only thing he hasn't done.
He
It was Sheamus.
But he did get to kiss China.
Who hasn't?
good.
I saw that on
Yeah.
video.
Right.
Well, there were 30 guys who tried to kiss China in that video,
that
if you
against
remember.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of people.
that's a different video.
Ah,
But
gotcha.
since leaving though WWE though, is leaving WWE, Chris Jericho, he's rejuvenated his career in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he helped launch AEW. But no Hall of Fame, no WrestleMania moment. The question that I'm going to throw out there to my good friend Stephen James, the host of the whole entire panel here, does going back help his legacy or does it water it down? I want to hear what you think.
He can't water it down any more than he has by going to AEW to begin with, because that was an abject failure, in my opinion. It helped no one at all. I don't think anybody is better. Maybe AEW got those early eyeballs, but he's gone through 9,000 different iterations of what his character is, which is a bit of his calling card in WWE, but it was spread out over time, and he would take longer breaks. He would let people miss you. When he was the only quote-unquote star power there, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he was the highest star there, there wasn't an opportunity for people to miss him. He just kept changing gimmicks here, there, this and that. I think that him going to WWE to have one last, from the Rumble to WrestleMania, I don't think he should win the Rumble. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say no. Don't do that.
It's the easy answer if he wins the Royal Rumble. It's way too easy.
It's easy, but easy isn't always good. I like fast food, but it gives me the shits, and so with that. So
It always comes back to shit on this show. Everything is.
this is the first one.
I know.
How can it come back to something that it was
While we were
never
talking
here?
shitting down people's necks, I mean, it's
fair.
shit and titties on this show.
It's all a shit show.
It won't water down his legacy to come back. I think that he needs to end his career in a place where people give a damn about him, because I don't think that they do. He's not a homegrown AEW guy, so he's always going to have that sort of WWE stink to the people who are more tribalist. And the people in WWE want to see him end his career in a way that is more akin to what they're used to. They want to see him have his last run. I don't care if it's the List of Jericho. I don't care if it's, Y2J. As long as it's not Fozzy on January 6th, I'm good.
Wait, what's Fozzy on January 6th? I think I missed that one.
Both national tragedies.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Oh boy.
All right, so the thing though is that I personally feel, WWE is where it should be. Growing up as a guy, as a kid in the Northeast, WWE has always been it for me. When I was exposed to WCW was cool, but it still wasn't it. So the question I'm throwing to Harry Terjanian, is WWE the true final chapter for legends like him?
Well, it doesn't have to be. Nothing is set in stone, and everything comes up in a different pattern. It just depends on what Jericho needs to do. Eventually, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. That goes without saying. It's just a question of if he wants to do it now, if he wants to do it later. I do think this. I love Chris Jericho. He's one of my favorites because he's evolved so much. I think part of the problem is a lot of what's going on with AEW and the downturn. A lot of that stink is sticking to Chris Jericho as if that's his responsibility. When you talk about who he put over, he put a lot of young talent over. Now, they didn't go on to win championships. They didn't go on to well, Sammy Guevara was one that he helped put over, and people forget that. He helped make Sammy Guevara, and he put a lot of young talent over, but they kind of stalled when they went away from him, or the booking change or injuries. Angelo Parker and whatever, I forget what their names are. I forget what their names are in the group, but the Jericho Appreciation Society. He did a lot to get those guys over. They were in a main event picture. It's just after that, the booking wasn't helpful to them. So he did everything he could. And also, he had a good championship run the first year, and, his career is winding down. He's not as strong. There wouldn't be an AEW without him. So I get that people say there's a little bit, it's a failure. I don't look at it that way. And I think he could do a lot more creatively in the WWE. I don't think he goes in the main event picture, nor should he at this point ever. You put him in the Rumble. He's not going to win the Rumble. He's not going to main event anything, but he could elevate somebody, with some interesting creativity. And it's also a nostalgia thing that he's been gone for a while. It's the same thing with CM Punk. It's something old is new again when you haven't had it in a while. So that would be my thing. It just depends on how much he wants to wrestle at this point. And if he goes to WWE, it's got to be limited to some capacity. But there's plenty of places you could use him to do something.
Everybody is limited in WWE at this point. Let's be honest.
I mean,
well, what do you mean by that? Everybody's limited.
In terms of in ring time, nobody wrestles like a lot anymore in WWE.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of talent.
There's a lot of people. There's barely any house shows, and there's like 8 people that wrestle weekly. Everybody else is like wrestling every 2 to 3 weeks.
I disagree with that. You got people like Cody Rhodes, who's at the top of the show. You got people like Roman Reigns, who's at the top of the show. They don't wrestle all the time. They usually save them for the PLEs.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've been seeing that's been happening in the WWE is that we've been getting quality style matches on regular television. Because right now, back in the days, maybe like 20, 25, 30 years ago, it was like, oh, well, you can't give that away on free TV. Well, you know what? Nothing is free TV because Netflix costs a lot of damn money. And sure the hell does my cable bill. And now they want us to pay more money for ESPN Plus. Come on. But somebody like Chris Jericho, if you use him right, just like Steven was saying, you use him right, you have him come in, just do a couple dates. I think that if he does return, I'm not saying that he is. I'm not his agent. If I was, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd probably be out there spending that cash. But how does he return? Is he a surprise Rumble entrant, one last match, full-time run? Deceive, Dave, what do you think?
Well, if we're talking about Chris Jericho, we can't, for me anyway, I mean, he's Mr. Return, right? Like all the build up and everything, every time he's come back, it's been an absolute explosion. I'll make a comment on the necessity on both sides. I don't think WWE needs him, nor do I think he needs WWE, nor do I think that's even a thought in his head just from his performance in AEW. I mean, not to take anything away from him, but it really just looks like he was in a playground having fun. And to be honest with you, that's his prerogative to do that. I mean, he doesn't owe anyone anything, but that's really kind of what it looked like. He's in there to give experience and expose people and build people up. But at the end of the day, I mean, it really just kind of looked like the Chris Jericho show, and then the people around him kind of got some of the splash. So I think he'll always be that guy. I don't really see him coming back to WWE and having a 5-star match. Like if he wrestles 3 times out of the year, I mean, I don't really, depends on how you build it. I don't really see them being like match of the night or anything like that. I don't think they would be bad, but I don't think we're going to get the Chris Jericho that we remember. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about retirement and where he goes afterwards, again, I don't believe Jericho looks at it that way. Like he's going to be giving himself the talent at when he's done. I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't really see it that way. But if he does, I think his efforts and his talent and the things that he can do and the things that he has done will be more better received in the WWE than anywhere else at the moment. The way WWE has been cooking, the way the WWE has been using their lesser talent, the way that WWE has been actually using their developmental stage in NXT to actually develop people, put them up, put them in situations to actually earn something. I think what he brings to the table would elevate those people. But if we're talking about necessity across the board, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I don't think anyone thinks about it the 2 days after once he retires.
I think that Chris Jericho going into AEW, he was one of the shiniest toys. He's one of the coolest toys for Tony Khan to be able to play with. But he also had Cody Rhodes as well too, and I feel that Cody Rhodes was one of the first big cracks in the walls of AEW, followed by now possibly Chris Jericho. You know, if you guys were to book Chris Jericho, would it be a Hall of Fame first, or would it be one last story to tell? AJ.
I like talking about Chris Jericho. The question you just posed, I would do the Hall of Fame first. The reason I would do the Hall of Fame first is because I need that buffer. Because what is about to happen after the Hall of Fame will not look anything like the footage we're about to show you when we put him in the Hall of Fame. So we need something to remind, Tristen, you're the one who said it at the beginning of this when you said, well, Chris Jericho has done so much in the WWE. To us, he's done a lot.
Yeah.
To us.
Yeah.
We grew up watching Chris Jericho. We saw everything that Chris Jericho has done. In our heads, he's done a lot. To today's WWE fan, he ain't done shit. And he's a nobody to them. And we would need, absolutely. We would need a refresher. It's been 8 years or close to it. We need a refresher. So for me, Hall of Fame would absolutely number one be first on the list because I need that groundswell of positivity around him so that the fans will look at that and go, oh, okay, big deal. Okay, he's a big deal. This guy's been in the ring with the best of the best. He's done this, he's done that. Okay, so now in the new fans' mind, I'm already putting him in high esteem, which is great because once they see him physically, it's going to dwindle. So we need as much pushed up as we possibly can so that fall is as soft as humanly possible. Unlike Albert, I'm meeting you for the first time, and I'm largely learning as this show goes on that you are a decent human being. I am not. Fuck everything about AEW. I have absolutely no problem sitting here saying fuck everything about All Elite Wrestling. I've been saying it on our show, and the reason for that is because we gave it a shot. We gave AEW a shot. If you look through my Rolodex on my episodes, we gave it a shot. We positive, negative, whatever was good, whatever was bad. Tony Khan lied to me, and he lied to a bunch of people, and he lied to my friends. I won't name names. But we were.
Oh wait, you were being serious. I thought you were
No,
saying that as a viewer.
I'm saying
I didn't really. Sorry, I was laughing. I didn't want you to think I'm.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I'm being 100% serious.
Because people do that. George Lucas lied to me.
No.
He lied to my friend.
It was a legit lie.
Gotcha.
And the legit lie being that it was going to be a wrestler's first company, and it's not. It is the same exact as WWE.
Sure
Same
is.
exact.
Sure
Same
is.
exact.
I think, and I think it's ran the same exact blueprint as well too as WWE or WCW or any other pro wrestling company out there. But when I'm looking at the WWE roster right now, I think somebody that benefits the most from wrestling somebody like Chris Jericho could be a guy that we mentioned before, maybe LA Knight, maybe Gunther. But at the end of the day, I think that Jericho's legacy is set, and whether he finishes the story in WWE or he just stays put in AEW. I think that's a chapter that only he can write. He's got the pen. He knows what his price is worth.